Hello guys, this is Anurag Agrawal. Let's start English Literature Cultural Studies Part 4. Question number 1. In post-colonial theory, the concept of mimicry is most closely associated with which theorist? There are four options: Edward Said, Frantz Fanon, Homi K. Bhabha, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Answer is C. Let's see. Homi K. Bhabha introduced the concept of mimicry in post-colonial theory, referring to the way colonized subjects imitate the behaviors of colonizers with subtle differences that challenges the colonizer's authority. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is a key theme in Gayatri Chakravarti's Spivak's essay, Can the Subaltern Speak? These are the options. The power of language in shaping identity, the possibility of a unified national culture, the voicelessness of marginalized groups within colonial and post-colonial context, and finally the fourth option is the superiority of Western feminism over global perspective. Option is C. Gayatri Spivak's essay Can the Subaltern Speak discusses how marginalized groups, particularly women in the colonized world, are often silenced and unable to speak for themselves within colonial and post-colonial context. Next question. Which of the following is a characteristics of interpellation as described by Louis Althusser? Options are the process by which individuals are encouraged to rebel against societal norms. Option B, the processes by which individuals recognize themselves as subjects within ideological structures. Option C, the spontaneous creation of class consciousness in workers. Option D, the complete rejection of all ideological systems by individuals. Let's see the answers. The process by which individuals recognize themselves as subject within ideological structures. Louis Althusser's concept of interpellation describes how individuals are recognized as subjects within societal structures and ideologies and how they internalize the dominant values of these structures. Next question. Which of the following best describes the focus of Judith Butler's theory of gender performativity? Options are Option A, gender as an innate biological characteristic. Option B, gender as a social construct enacted through repeated performance. Option C, the distinction between masculinity and femininity. Option D, the fixed identity of gender in all societies. Option correct answer is gender as a social construct enacted through repeated performance. Explanation. Judith Butler's theory of gender performativity argues that gender is not an innate trait but a social construct enacted through repeated performance of gendered behavior and actions. Let's move on to the question number 5. Which of the following is the primary focus of Edward W. Said's concept of Orientalism? He is a key figure while describing the Orientalism, the Edward W. Said or Said, whatever you say. These are the options: the economic exploitation of colonized nations. Option B, the study of Eastern literature and philosophy by Western scholars. Option C, the construction of the East as exotic, backward, and inferior by the West, sorry. And the fourth option is the resistance of the East to Western cultural imperialism. Let's see the answer. That is C, the construction of the East as exotic, backward, and inferior by the West. Edward W. Said Orientalism critiques how the West constructed the East as exotic, backward, and inferior to justify colonial domination, presenting the East as an object of study and control. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following best describes the concept of gaze as discussed by Laura Mulvey in feminist film theory? These are the options. Focus on the physical body of the female protagonist. The power dynamics between the camera, audience, and objectified female character. The historical development of female directors in cinema. And option D is the visual pleasure derived from male characters on screen. Yes, exactly. The answer will be the B. The power dynamics between the camera, the audience, and the objectified female character. Why? Laura Muller's concept of the gaze in feminist theory focuses on power dynamics between the camera, representing the male gaze, the audience, and objectified female character in cinema. That's it. Let's see the next question. In cultural studies, hegemony, as developed by Antonio Gramsci, refers to option A, the complete overthrow of dominant cultural norms by the oppressed, the coercive power of the state to maintain order, the dominance of a particular class worldview through consent rather than force, and the fourth option is the use of revolutionary violence to establish a new cultural order. Option C is the right answer. Antonio Gramsci's theory of hegemony suggests that ruling class maintains power not only through force but by gaining consent from the population, shaping their worldview to align with the dominant class. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following best describes the concept of carnivalesque as proposed by Mikhail Bakhtin? Options are the celebration of sacred rituals and traditions in society. Option B, the inversion of social hierarchies and norms during festivals and celebrations. Option C, the formalization of social order through literature. And the final option is the portrayal of the tragic and serious in literature. Correct answer is the inversion of social hierarchies and norms during festivals and celebration. Mikhail Bakhtin's concept of carnivalesque refers to the temporary inversion of social norms during festivals where hierarchical structures are turned upside down and freedom is momentarily enacted. Let's move on to the ninth question. Which of the following is a central theme in Michael Foucault's concept of biopower? Options are A, the use of mass media to control public opinion. Option B, the regulation of life, health, and population by modern states. Option C, the overthrow of capitalist economic structures. And option D, the resistance to colonial power through guerrilla warfare. See the answer. That is B. The regulation of life, health, and population by modern states. This explanation is Michael Foucault concept of biopower refers to the way in which modern states regulate life, health, and populations, managing the biological aspects of individuals and populations for control and governance. Let's move on to the final questions of this video. Which of the following best describes the concept of colonial discourse in post-colonial theory? These are the options. A dialogue between colonized people about their resistance. Option B, the way colonial power justify and legitimize their control over colonized lands. Option C, the communication between colonizers and the colonized to establish cultural exchange. And the final option is the exchange of scientific knowledge between colonial powers and indigenous people. Let's see the answer. Option B is the correct answer. The way colonial power justify and legitimize their control over colonized lands. Colonial discourse refers to the set of ideas and narratives used by colonial powers to justify their domination and control, portraying colonized people as inferior and needing civilizing intervention. That's it for this video. We will see more 10 questions in the next video soon. Till then, thank you and goodbye.